Cars. Are you into cars? My brother is. He's car crazy. He buys car magazines, watches car programs on TV, and spends hours looking at car websites. He knows the name, maker, engine size, and top speed of every car on the planet. Every time we go out, he talks non-stop about the cars he sees. I like cars. They are interesting. If I had a lot of money, I'd like to buy a sports car. I'm saving up for a small car at the moment. I'll probably buy a hybrid car that is good for the environment. My brother thinks these are boring. He says a car should be powerful and fast. I don't agree. I think cars should get you from A to B and be big enough for me and my friends. I also prefer smaller cars because they are easier to park.
Hello everyone, how are you doing? It is such a great pleasure for me to be back again in a new lesson, and today, as you see, we have unit 17 from unit, let's say from lesson 27, and we talk about asking about the fears and talking about fears, okay? Just as a reminder, we have studied this lesson in the previous levels, so as usual, today's lesson is just gonna be like a revision, okay? So fears. The first topic that we will focus on is asking about fears, how we ask about the things that we scare of, and then talking about fears, how we can talk about the things that we scared of, right? So the title is, are you afraid of? Are you afraid of? Are you afraid of? Unit 17. Okay, so let's move to the vocabulary section. Complete the questionnaire about fears. Check the correct column or columns for each type. You know, the N is silent here, so we don't say column. No, columns for each type of fear. So, do you know, or does someone you know have any of these fears? You or someone you know, your siblings, or let's say one of your siblings, your uncle, your aunt, or maybe your dad or your mom. Okay, fear of heights, fear of heights, fear of public speaking, speaking in front of numerous people, like speaking in front of, let's say, 10 people or maybe 20 people, or for a group of people. This is called public speaking. Fear of flying, like by a plane, right? Fear of flying. So I personally don't fear of heights, I don't fear of public speaking, I don't fear of flying. Fear of the dark, I don't fear of the dark. Fear of spiders, this is common among ladies, right? Fear of spiders. Fear of snakes, yes, I fear of snake, let's be honest, okay? Claustrophobia is fear in small closed areas, okay? Small area. This is called claustrophobia. Compare your chart with a partner's chart. Do you have any of the same fears? What is the most common fear? What is the least common fear? Okay, so you can say, well, I fear of snakes, but as I noticed, my friend fears of, let's say, of spider. He has a, let's say, he fears of spider. We say fears, okay? The S, please add the S to the verb, which is fear, okay? Okay, that's how we can use them in a sentence. So you can say, I don't fear, or I do not fear of the dark, but my sister fears a lot from the dark. I don't fear of spiders, but my other siblings fear of spiders. Yes, I fear of snakes, but my dad doesn't fear of snakes. Me and my mom, we both don't fear of flying. My dad fears of public speaking, but I personally don't fear of public speaking. These are all examples I gave you. You can have your own examples and you can write it down in your notebook. So let's switch to a conversation section. Okay, here we will discuss this conversation between Danielle and Anthony. Okay, so let's hear the conversation. Let's go ahead.
Lesson 17. Are you afraid of... Page 42. Conversation. A. Listen. What is Daniel afraid of? What is Anthony afraid of?
I'm really nervous. I have to give a presentation tomorrow.
Oh, you don't like public speaking?
That's an understatement. I'm terrified of it.
Yeah, a lot of people are. In fact, I've heard that it's one of the most common fears.
Really?
Yeah, it's even more common than the fear of flying.
Are you afraid of public speaking?
No, not really.
What are you afraid of?
Well, I have claustrophobia. I'm afraid of being in small spaces. I'm also uncomfortable around snakes and spiders. They give me the creeps.
This
Page
was the
42. Conversation.
Okay.
C.
Now we will move to part C. It's time to improve, enhance, develop our listening skills. Okay, or level up our listening skill. These are all synonyms for making something better. Okay, so as usual, listen to the audio track again, but you will hear 3 extra sentences, expressions, words. So you have to write it down, or write them down, because we have 3 extra things. Okay, so write them down.
Listen. Write the 3 extra sentences.
I'm really nervous. I have to give a presentation tomorrow. I have to talk in front of 200 people. 200 people tomorrow. I have to talk in front of 200 people. Tomorrow. I have to talk in front of 200 people. Tomorrow. I have to talk in front of 200 people.
I have to talk in front of 200 people.
Oh, you don't like public speaking?
That's an understatement. I'm terrified of it.
Yeah, a lot of people are. In fact, I've heard that it's one of the most common fears.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's one of the most common fears.
Really? I didn't know that.
Heard that it's one of the most common fears.
Really? I didn't know that.
Really? I didn't know that, or I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's even more common than the fear of flying.
Are you afraid of public speaking?
No, not really. I enjoy public speaking, actually. I enjoy public speaking, actually. I enjoy public speaking, actually. I enjoy public speaking, actually.
I enjoy public speaking, actually.
What are you afraid of?
Well, I have claustrophobia. I'm afraid of being in small spaces. I'm also uncomfortable around snakes and spiders. They give me the creeps.
Okay. Hello, everyone. So, this was it. It's time to review all of the things that we have studied so far. Notice the ways we ask about and talk about fears. So, asking about fears and talking about fears. So, the general question, the general rule for asking about something that scares somebody is, what are you afraid of? Okay? For example, you have an interview, okay? And your tongue is stuttering. You cannot pronounce the words correctly. You cannot speak very well. So the interviewer might ask you, come on, what are you afraid of? And you can say, well, I'm terrified of public speaking. I'm terrified of interviews. I'm terrified of job interviews. Okay? This is a general question. What are you afraid of? What are you afraid of? But please link all of them together. What are you afraid of? What are you afraid of? Okay, this is how the native speakers are speaking. Yes, I'm speaking slowly so I can deliver my message, my explanation to you. But if you want me to be honest with you, then they would speak like, what are you afraid of? They don't say, what are you afraid of? No. Or if you doubt that the person that you're talking to is afraid of something, you can directly ask him or her, are you afraid of public speaking? Or are you afraid of interviews? Okay, this is a direct question. Okay, are you afraid of darkness? Are you afraid of the dark? Okay. Or you can ask another general question. What is your greatest fear? What is your greatest fear? Okay, for example, my greatest fear is snakes. My greatest fear is small closed areas. So I have a claustrophobia. Okay? Do snakes scare you? Does interview scare you? Does darkness scare you? Okay? You can say, I'm uncomfortable. Uncomfortable, or you can say uncomfortable. Both of them are correct. Uncomfortable, but don't say uncomfortable. No, it's wrong. Please do not pronounce it like that. So, I'm uncomfortable around snakes and spiders. I'm uncomfortable in the dark. I'm uncomfortable during interviews. Okay? Because they make me nervous. They make me nervous or nervous. Part B, it says, ask and tell your partner about one of your fears. One of your fears, not all of your fears. So you can, this is a general question. What is your greatest fear? I'm scared of spiders. They make me nervous. On the contrary, you can say, what's your least fear? My least fear is snakes. Okay? On the contrary to the greatest fear, you can say the least fear. Okay? The thing that you're scared of the least. Okay? Another example, I have written it down here. It is, are you afraid of darkness? No. I can walk late at night. No, I can walk late. No, I can walk late at night. Like after the midnight, after 12. Okay? Pronunciation. Okay? Listen to these sentences and notice the low tone used for the words that show negative or serious emotion, compared with the higher tone used for positive emotion. So if something is negative, if something is making you sad, then you have lower tone. Like, what is your greatest fear? This is negative. You're talking about something that scares you. I'm afraid of flying. Snakes give me creeps. But if you're talking in a positive way, then what is your favorite color? I really like flying. Snakes are fascinating creatures. Snakes are fascinating creatures. So let's compare them. What is your greatest fear? What is your favorite color? I'm afraid of flying. I really like flying. Snakes give me creeps. Snakes are fascinating creatures. Okay, please imitate me. What I did, you can do it. Okay, I know you can do it. Okay, imitate me. Do what I'm doing here. What is your greatest fear? What is your favorite color? This is how the native speakers speak. Okay, the last section we have is speak with confidence. As usual, we will be having a conversation together. Okay, are you ready? If you're ready, we're gonna start. Okay, and by the way, these are the fears that you can talk about: cockroach, lizard, driving fast, going to high altitudes like mountains. Okay, so welcome back, everyone. So if you're ready, we're gonna start our conversation together. Okay, are you ready? Okay, so when was the last time that you were terrified of something, that you were really scared of something, that you said, oh my god, what is that? What was the last time? Oh my god. So what is your greatest fear? Is it snakes? What about darkness? Well, have you ever felt terrified of exams? Be honest. That's awesome. Well, inshallah, you will never feel terrified again. You will live an awesome life. Okay, so thanks for your time and have a great time. Have a great week. Okay, and bye bye.